Okay, so let's talk about optics for your rifle. First off, you have to have one. Um, there's nothing wrong with iron sights, but people tend to call them backup sights for a reason. It's just whether you have a magnified optic or whether you have a red dot, it's just so much faster. It makes you so much more capable than if you're just using your iron sights. So I'm a firm believer in you need an optic. One of the factors you're going to have when you're deciding on what optic to run, whether it's magnified or whether it's just a red dot, is cost. Cost is a big factor. It's probably the number one factor on what makes people choose one over the other. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the red dots, like to get a decent red dot, is gonna be way cheaper than buying a good entry level, like 1 to 6 or 1 to 4 or any of that. You can get a decent red dot for I don't know, $100. I mean, you have the Bushnell TRS 25. I know Primary Arms makes one. I mean, are they the best? No, but they'll get you by. Like you can make do. When you step into the magnified stuff, I always used to stay away from them because I just thought like to get a decent one cost too much. However, Primary Arms has started to make, and Vortex for that matter, has started to make 1 to 6s. Damn air conditioning. Has started to make 1 to 6s, 1 to 8s that are somewhat affordable now. I mean, they're good quality and they're good enough that I feel comfortable putting them on a rifle that I would use for self defense. Now, can you get one for $100? No, you can't. I mean, the Primary Arms 1 to 6 is going to be about $280. Plus, you have to, um, buy a mount. So hold on, let me move this there. Plus, you have to buy a mount, and you're gonna spend another $60 on a decent mount. And then to step up to the 1 to 8, like what's on the top rifle here, it's gonna be more like 380 plus $60 for a mount. So that's gonna be the deciding factor for a lot of people. Now, if money is not an option, then you get down to philosophy of use. What you're using this rifle primarily for. Like if it's going to be within 100 to 150 yards, max for what you're shooting at, and it's basically you're looking for combat effectiveness, so shooting at a man-sized target, you can get by with a red dot, no problems. Plus, the red dots tend to be easier on the eyes to pick up. You could shoot with both eyes open. Whereas with the magnified optics, like even though they say 1 to 4 or 1 to 6, they're not always a true one power. So there's going to be a little distortion there that makes them kind of hard for some people to shoot with both eyes open still when it's on one power and you're up close. I kind of feel like for most people you're gonna be able to make it work even up to like a 2 power or 2.5 power. uh, you can still shoot with both eyes open. Shooting on the move is a little bit different. However, I think the 1 to 4s, the 1 to 6s, the 1 to 8s are great. um, when it comes to shooting out past say 100 150 yards and you want to shoot out to 4 5 6 even 700 yards, the 1 to 8s and things like that are going to be much more capable. Or if you're trying to shoot small targets at say 100 yards. um, so it really comes down to what is the use of the rifle. Now, as far as like durability and reliability, a lot of the red dots, especially when you get aim point, like you get an EOTech, you can beat the crap out of them, and they're just gonna work. not only are they going to work, but on the higher end red dots, like, you know, aim points, the battery life is amazing. I mean, we're talking you can put it on, you know, a moderate setting for years. So as far as the reliability and the durability on like this primary arms optic on the top rifle, I've only got about 1,000 rounds through it. I love it so far. I don't see any issues with it. Let's say they did break, and that at that point, something, you know, major and catastrophic has probably happened. Other than, you know, I guess on a red dot you could just have your battery go out, but on the red dot you're going to be able to flip up your backup sights and shoot through the optic and have no problems. Whereas, you know, if you something happens and your magnified optic doesn't, you know, work for some reason, you lose your zero, I don't know, whatever, you're kind of in a position where you're kind of screwed, because on a lot of these magnified optics you're not running backup sights because either they don't fit or you can't position the optic right due to eye relief or, you know, whatever. So you're kind of, my philosophy on it is like, look, I've never seen someone's primary optic go down, and, you know, all the time I've been shooting. So could it happen? Yes. Is it likely to happen? No. Set yourself up for the most capability you could possibly have that fits into your budget. Um, I did talk about function and eyes a little bit. Weight's another big one. Um, the rifle on the bottom, the aim point weighs probably 6 ounces. The rifle on top, the primary arms, weighs about 18 ounces with the mount. So I mean, you do have a huge difference in weight. So if you're gonna be shooting, at, like if your rifle is supposed to be an ultra lightweight build or something, you're gonna want to go with a red dot. If that's not a big issue to you, then go with the magnified. Um, and then let's talk about speed and just overall capabilities and where I kind of landed on this. Speed, when it comes to up close, we're talking within 50 yards, you might have a slight advantage as a red dot. I don't know. I tend to have that, but then again, I don't have a lot of rounds behind the magnified stuff at this point. However, I don't think it's such a discrepancy that it's a deal breaker. Um, I think the extra capability you get as far as shooting out to longer distances or shooting smaller targets at say 100 yards, kind of, I kind of lean towards the magnified stuff now that you're getting a decent level of equipment for a decent price. But I love red dots. I grew up, so to speak, on red dots. You can't go wrong with red dots. You just have to decide what's your use for this rifle.